gents, fellas. Okay, so we've been having our winter meetings. Jeremy's surprised I even hit start already, but I decided to just do it.
Just go for it.
I'm Nikeing it up.
I mean, winter, summer. It's all...
Did I say winter meetings
You
again?
did.
I'm the worst. Anyway, I met with Josh Leddick, the other part of the leadership of the LCG, Last Chance for Glory, because evidently I put Glory at the end of all my fantasy league names. I'm the worst at naming them. This is true. And we threw around a couple ideas because, honestly, I'll be transparent. What led to the whole conversations was the fact that I hate our keeper rules. I can't freaking stand them. I've got a nice constitution all written up for everybody here, like 5-6 pages, and I'm really happy with them. Really pleased. With that, there's some improvements I feel we can make, especially the keeper thing. I feel like we were doing the right idea a couple years ago when we did. You got to keep the player in the round you drafted him in +1. I thought that was a good idea. It's a good base. It made it so it was a little more interesting. And then last year, because the year prior I had to chase down so many people for money that the last year I went ahead and said forget it. As long as you pay on draft day, you get to keep a keeper. That's the only rules. The bright side of that was we got all the money. Everybody paid, so that was good.
Everyone paid.
And I didn't have to do any extra legwork, which I appreciated. But now here we are, and I would almost rather do legwork just to have better rules. I pride myself on running pretty good leagues, guys. I feel like we've put together a pretty good product. And something to be proud of. That's a lot of fun. It's a little more in depth than some other leagues. One of the things that makes this league in depth is the fact that it's 14 teams. Few other leagues are like that, especially for people we know. So we threw around a couple ideas, and with those ideas are some different thoughts. So I'm going to let Jeremy discuss the first idea.
Option 1.
By the way, there's going to be a vote.
There will be a vote, and you all better vote.
You will be called. Every single one of you will get a phone call
Harass.
or a text message asking you to please vote because we will need a large...
Because we need majority on this, people.
Yeah, we really do.
This isn't a dictatorship.
Everybody show up.
Option 1. This is if we keep a standard draft. The rules are very simple. 1, you must pay to have a keeper. If you show up to draft day and you have no money, you do not get a keeper. If you had keepers before, Dunsky. No mas. If you get a keeper, you can keep him at the round you drafted him +1. So example is I got Doug Martin in round 5 again confirming.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. So this year if I chose him as a keeper, I would lose my 4th round draft spot. And the only other rule we are suggesting...
We did that a couple years ago. So
works.
Most of you guys, as we don't have a whole lot of turnover in this league, most of you guys are pretty... know how that works.
And there will be a 3-year limit on how long you can keep a guy just to keep it interesting. And option 2, which is what we will be voting on, I will let my esteemed colleague here...
Thanks, Jeremy.
...unpack.
This is... I won't lie, I really like this idea. I don't know what you guys think about it. Most of us who were turned into way too big of fantasy nerds have kind of really fallen in love with the idea of doing this and just adding to the depth of our league. Converting to auction. With that, you would be allowed to keep 2 players. And the way auction works is you would have $200 to build your team. Spend whatever you chose on whatever players, as long as you stayed underneath your $200. If you decided to go after Aaron Rodgers, Adrian Peterson, and who's next to running back? And Arian Foster. You want all of them? Get all of them. But just note, the rest of your team is going to be filled with $1 guys, probably. Needless to say, that makes it really, really interesting because you can go after who you want to go after. If you want a butt ton of Redskin players, get a butt ton of Redskin players. By all means. I'm not going to stop you. For the keeper side of that, you get to keep 2 players. We would still recognize last year's keeper values or last year's auction values. So if you have, if you say, oh gosh, but man, Alfred Morris was nothing last year. Nobody even talked about him, and he blew up last year. And I don't have to pay the new inflated price. For instance, I'll give you a couple names of a couple guys, some players who they would get. Eric has the option of Matt Ryan had an awesome year last year and helped Eric get to the championships. Matt Ryan cost $6, and he would actually have a 30% drop-off because that number is based on 10-team league or a 14-team league. Mikel LaShore had a great year. He was $0. So right there, Eric would be able to keep 2 players for less than $6, even after we gave them a bump up in value, be able to keep them for really, really affordable rates. Sheldon, Alfred Morris, $0. Williams, Buccaneers. Mike Williams, $1. Jeff, the reigning league champion. David Wilson, who's now a starter, remained on your team. Oh, if he did. I don't know if he did. I'm going to check and see if he did. If he is on your team, that's $2. AJ Green, $31. That seems like a lot, but this year he would cost $42. Mine's, like I said, we would have a 30% drop off on that number anyways.
We suck at math, so we're not going to do it for you.
New owner, Justin Cahoot. I keep talking about Stephen Ridley. I keep talking to him about Stephen Ridley. Stephen Ridley would have been $10 last year. You're not here to tell me that a guy who's going to be a top 10 running back, projected top 14 even, or most of those guys are going over $35, $40. So the thought that he would have him minus 30% plus an additional $5 would be just absolutely awesome. Freaking awesome. Des Bryant, $19 for him. This year he's projected at $39. So there's a lot of, we go off of the year before's numbers just to make sure we protect our owners as best possible so you guys can get the max value for what you were smart with last year. The same way that you would, if you kept a player this year on the standard draft cycle and you would lose one pick higher, that's the same kind of level except for putting a dollar amount to it. Then you would, if we did decide to keep two keepers, that'd be the next part of voting if we decided to go with the auction. You keep one player at $5 and then for 1 year, and then you'd have a second player you'd be able to keep for 3 years for also $5 extra each year. So if you get a Doug Martin is worth spending $15 extra over the next 3 years to keep somebody like that. That's an awesome situation. And then, like I said, I already mentioned the 30% discount.
Multiple times.
Didn't I, though? So we think these are some creative ideas that'll make the league a little more special, add a little more depth to it, make it a lot of fun, allows you to put your own fingerprint on your team the way you want it to be. So,
I'm in favor.
He's in favor. I'm in favor. Josh Leggett's in favor. But because we knew we were already going to have 3 votes that would be voted for it, and we have 14 owners, we wanted to get an 11 out of 14 vote to approve it. And if the other 3 owners, if we did get an 11 out of 3 and the other 3 who voted against it said they didn't want to be in the league anymore, no problem. I have people coming out of my armpits trying to join this league. This, unlike baseball, it will never be difficult to fill. I already filled 2 spots. I don't even know if you guys know about it. I had 2 new owners. So we want you guys to vote. I'm going to put the poll up. And hopefully we get good responses. Like I said, you guys are all going to hear from us. Whatever we decide on, we decide on. If the league feels the best thing to do is to do the standard draft, we're going to stick to the standard draft. We think we have a good thing. We just need to add the keeper element back to it and make it a little more creative. But if we want to get really wild and we want to make it auction, let's make it auction. Who cares? Let's get wild.
Excellent.
So that's it, guys. Deuces.